Hello, everybody. This is Rock Kaput, and tonight we are going to set cities aflame with rock and roll because we are talking about the great US hard rock band Blue Öyster Cult. Yeah, I guess we will discuss if hard rock is the fitting term for this band. Some would say they are even a proto-metal band. We will see about that. I'm pretty convinced that this is a very exciting and very interesting band. Like them a lot, and there's lots of stuff to discover when going to the records of this band. So this discography ranking will, I think, it will be pretty interesting. Alex is with me. We took the deep dive together, and yeah, before we start going into the albums, let me just give you a very short run through the history of the band. Um, they were founded in the late 60s in Long Island, New York, by three guys called Donald Rosa, Alan Lanier, and Albert Bouchard. And they were called in the beginning the Soft White Underbelly, which is a pretty off-putting name. And then they were discovered by Sandy Pearlman, who wanted to form the US answer to Black Sabbath. He was a writer himself, and he became the manager of the band, wrote a lot of lyrics for them. Um, they switched the name shortly after into Blue Öyster Cult, found a lineup with main singer Eric Bloom and Albert Bouchard. Stayed together for a very long time in this lineup. First album came out in 1971. Um, each album that followed sold more than the one before, until their fourth one. Then they got into a little decline with diminishing returns, but they recorded some pretty famous songs. Their most well-known tracks are "Don't Fear the Reaper," of course. "Godzilla" was a pretty big hit in the USA, and "Burning for You" in the early 80s. Um, Interesting, in Germany, this band never did very much. They were known, of course, over here, but I checked before we did this show, and the first album that ever charted in the German album charts actually was their second to last album, The Symbol Remains, from 2020. So none of their albums before charted, and none of their singles made it to the German singles charts. So yeah, you can see how a band that is super famous in the US doesn't do anything in Germany. What's also interesting about them is that they always had authors writing lyrics for them. So the lyrics of this band are pretty interesting as well. But we will get into this. So let's just start. We have 15 studio albums, and we will go in packages of three each. So Alex is going to start with his number 15.
Okay, first, I just want to briefly explain how I got into the band. I don't know them that long, to be honest. I mean, of course, I've heard Don't Fear the Reaper and maybe one or two other hits. But other than that, I only knew the name and I always wanted to discover their discography. And a few years ago, I got into their um, the albums of their classic lineup from, I would say, from the mid 70s to the 80s, and also some of their early classics. But all the other albums were new to me when doing this exercise, and it was pretty exciting. It's a very, very interesting band with a lot of facets and different sounds. So let's get into it. So my number 15 is their newest album, Ghost Stories from 2024. It's not a bad album at all. I still like it. It has a good opener. Cherry, it's very status quo like, kind of a status quo rocker, a bit unusual for them. Also like the production. It's a solid album, but it has many forgettable songs. Um, they have two covers. They cover two great songs, but the execution is very boring. I don't like them at all. One of them is "Kick Out the Jams." It's it's a live staple by them. I mean, they played this many times, and I think the version on their live albums they are much better than this. I think it's very stiff, and it is not a particularly good version. And I, to be honest, I like the MC5 version a lot, and I've heard many cover versions of this, and this is certainly not one of the better ones. So I think they play around with the riff. The drums are totally different than in the original, and it gets less punky. And to me, it loses a lot of appeal when they take this punk energy out of it. I don't know. They have this robotic riffing and a kind of an yeah very different beat. It's hard to describe. The other cover version I don't like very much is the Beatles cover "If I Fell," which is very close to the original. I mean, who wants to listen to this? I think it's totally pointless to put this on a Blue Oyster Cult album, on a studio album. I mean, this would be a nice B-side. Okay, they can do something like this, but I mean, if I want to listen to this song, I listen to the original. So it's okay, but to put this on an album, such a lame and uninspired, I mean, it's very close to the original. It's not very inventive or something, yeah. So yeah, I don't really know what they were going for here. I think to do this on a last album is not really very tasteful. Don't think anybody needs this version. But they redeem themselves a little bit. They also cover the animals with "We Gotta Get Out of This Place." It's clearly the best cover of all of them to me. It's still an enjoyable album, but these choices seem very strange and random to me. And yeah, it's an okay album. I still like it. So my number 14 is 2001's Curse of the Hidden Mirror. It's the last one with Alan Lanier. It's also an enjoyable album, has a good heavy production. I especially like the song "One Step Ahead of the Evil." It's a very bluesy, ZZ Top-like rocker. I like such stuff, and Donald can is perfectly to do this really cool song. And a nice pop song, also sung by Donald. Donald is my favorite singer of the many singers this band has. The whole band is singing basically, not on every album, but everybody has a chance to come to the mic. So, and this Donald pop song is called "Here Comes That Feeling." I also like that one. Still a very good album, but not a highlight in the discography. My number 13 is "The Symbol Remains" from 2020. It has very, very good singing, partly better than on some of the classic albums. I love Richie Castellano's contribution, which is one of the newer members. I don't really remember when he joined the band. Yeah, and he's very cool on the song "Tainted Blood." I like that one. And yeah, this is perfectly executed, good rock music, hard rock music. The album doesn't have as much personality than their earlier records. I mean, the earlier records, they were you would recognize them immediately. They had a very distinct cover. And yeah, of course, the title is reminiscence to a song on uh, to the 80s album, or what was the name? Revolutions by
Is it?
Night.
I think it's
Yeah,
Revolution by Night, right?
it's on Revolutions by Night. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, still, this is my favorite of the modern era, of the very, very new ones of Blue Oyster Cult. The groove here does not have this stiffness. Sometimes they are very stiff on some songs, also on some earlier on their earlier incarnations. I don't like that very much. And here they are very loose and bluesy and groovy. They can also do that, and this is very cool. And yeah, the Simmer remains my number 13.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I got to just to get into my history with Blue Oyster Cult. It's not that much longer than yours. I think I know the band since my early childhood because I think there in '83 there was a kind of German candy and they always had stickers inside their wrapping. And there was a series in '83 with pop and rock stars. And I think there was a sticker dedicated to Blue Oyster Cult, which I think is hilarious. Yeah, it was a very odd choices of artists they had in there, and I think yeah, I knew this band the first time I came a bit closer was in that Metal Hammer issue I always mention, or I mentioned several times here because in that issue their 1988 album Imaginos was reviewed. So I met this band again, and but it still took a while. I think like 10, 12 years ago, I bought this very nice box set, which includes all their albums up till '88, all their live albums, and there's a lot of rarities and extras in it as well. So I bought that and dove in, and yeah, the newer albums I bought when we decided to tackle their discography. So yeah, but I liked them as soon as I got into them, and when I listened to their album now in order to rank them, I realized how many great records there are, how different these records are, and that made it so hard because depending on what you want to hear, your favorites will change, and you realize that some albums you kind of underrated are suddenly embedded in your mind without you having realized it before. So okay, we have the same last place, Ghost Stories from 2024, which is the only album I don't own and probably the only album that I think is kind of forgettable. Um, and you said you think the choices they made are odd, and that's because it's not really a cohesive album, but it's sort of a collection of outtakes and stuff they did before. So it's actually more of a sampler. I mean, they recorded all this for this album new, so they didn't put old recordings together, but all these songs are old and that makes the whole thing seem kind of cluttered together. And there are some songs that you say would are weaker than others or too weak to put them on a real album. Um, what I think is disappointing is that they announced that this would be their last studio album, and I think it's a bit sad to go out with a record like this, especially when it that because it took them 4 years to release that one after the Symbol Remains, which was really strong. Um, and I mean, okay, these guys are in their late 70s or even 80s, so I think they deserve a rest. But still, yeah, it's a bit of a lackluster way to go out, I think. On 14, I have their comeback album from 1998, which they put out after 10 years, and it's called Heaven Forbid. I don't know if Americans know this cover because this is some kind of a censored cover they put out here in Germany or Europe. Um, it's it's kitschy and ugly, but it's not as ugly as the real cover artwork, I think. Um, so yeah, heaven forbid. Um, from here on out, I like all of their albums. Some more than others. This is certainly a good one, especially for a band that's been out for so long and after a break of 10 years. There's some good stuff on here. My favorite is probably Rosa's Harvest Moon, um, which reminds me of his tracks from the 70s. Very melodic, a little bit of a folky vibe, or psychedelic vibe. There are some straight rock songs on here, like Power Underneath Despair or Hammer Back, which I don't like that much. Um, Really good is Cold Gray Light of Dawn. I also like that one, melodic hard rock song. Um, yeah, in the end, they have a live recording of their old classic in D, which is yeah, maybe it's a nice bonus. I wouldn't have needed it on this one, but yeah, it's a good one. Of their newer albums, I think this is the weakest, so it's my number 14. On 13, I have the Symbol Remains from 2020. And I completely agree with you, so I won't talk that much about it. I think it's very punchy and has great production. It doesn't sound like guys who are beyond 70 at this point. Um, it's uh, it's one of the heaviest albums, I would say. Um, but like you already mentioned, it lacks a bit of their personality. So you hear it on a couple of tracks, you hear it in their lyrics, but uh, the songs are a bit standard hard rock sound. So not that original, but yeah, Tainted Blood is a song I really love. It's a You could say it's a melodic power ballad about vampires, love between vampires, and yeah, that's a very cool song. I love this one. So The Symbol Remains is my number 13.
Okay, it's my turn again. So,
Your turn.
my number 12 is maybe a little bit undeserved, but yeah, I try to be honest. It's Imaginos. It's kind of a weird album. It has a very complicated story in its development. So Albert Bouchard planned a solo album, and the label didn't want it to be released as an Albert Bouchard album. And in the end, it got kind of executed by Blue Oyster Cult and came out as a Blue Oyster Cult album, even though many other musicians are playing on this, including Robbie Krieger, believe it or not, from The Doors, or Joe Satriani, guitar wizard. So it's a very interesting album and heavy sounding, but I I I don't know. Maybe I will, but I did not warm up to this whole project, and I did not really get into the story. It has a different vibe than most other Blue Oyster Cult albums, in my opinion. And it's still interesting to me, but I have to get deeper into it and listen to it more to fully understand the whole storyline. I did not, I think I did not invest enough time to completely comprehend this. I have a feeling this might grow on me. I mean, it's still my number 12, but I love other albums more at this point. So my number 11 is this is probably the most controversial choice is Cultosaurus erectus from 1980, produced by Martin Birch. So I don't know. I never liked this album much. I really tried hard, but yeah, some songs are okay, but I don't like the production very much. I think it has maybe one great song, which is Unknown Tongue, sung by Eric. And also quite good is Lips in the Hills, a fast rocker. But all the rest I don't know. Um, Black Blade was co-written by the lyrics were written by the sci-fi writer Michael Moorcock. They worked with him on several songs. Yeah, it also seems Eric is singing in a persona from one of his novels, and yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. But to me, it sounds like an intro to a great song, and then the song is ending and nothing happens. And Eric, the most of the time, Eric is babbling above the riff. He's not even singing. Yeah, there's it's also on other songs. It's not there's not a lot of singing on these songs. Yeah, it's babbling above riffs to me. So I don't know.
That would have been a great album title, right? Babbling above
Yes.
riffs.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit heavier than Mirrors, and yeah, and they went on the Black and Blue tour with this album with Black Sabbath. Um, yeah, very stiff grooves most of the time. Some The Who vibes, but the part of The Who I don't like. Thumping, uninspired bass grooves. I don't really get this album. I don't know. It's yeah, I love the album cover. It's very cool, and I always wanted to like this, but it just didn't happen. Monsters has a cool middle section with a walking bass, and the rest is again this super stiff riffing, and when they do this super stiff stuff, I don't get it. So it's not really rock and rolly. It's a very stiff, artsy thing. Yeah, I don't like that much, and I don't really understand what they are trying to do. Yeah, they do this several times. Yeah, but on this album, it bothers me a little bit more. Um, yeah, Divine Wind is a boring song. Yeah, okay, Deadline is okay. It's a song by Donald or Buck Dharma. Yeah, and yeah, the Marshall Plan is also okay, but not great in my opinion. And Fallen Angel is this late period The Who song. Yeah, it's okay, but not really my taste. I don't know. I really feel I am too young for this. I don't know. I mean, I was 4 years old when this came out. Um, yeah, so yeah, and Unknown Tongue is for me is by far the best song on the album, and I don't really care for much of the rest. So, and my number 10, this might annoy people that I placed this above Cultosaurus erectus, is Club Ninja. I really like the album. It's a very commercial 80s AOR album, but it's a good one. Perfect Water has a melody you think you have heard a million times, but you really like this melody, and you want this to be executed. The song executed by Blue Oyster Cult. I think it's super cool. Yeah, if you want to listen to music by this, why not Blue Oyster Cult? So, and it has lots of songs sung by Bach. That's always a good thing to me because some of the other singers, yeah, can be a little bit, I don't know, are not my favorites. Um, yeah, and this album is hated a lot because they brought in a lot of outside songwriters and they lost part of their identity. But I agree about that. But I still like this album a lot. Yeah, I mean they did a lot of, you could say, commercial choices here, but I think they maintained a kind of a Blue Oyster Cult vibe, and I, I still dig it. Club Ninja, my number 10.
Okay. So my number 12 is Curse of the Hidden Mirror from 2001. Um, I could repeat what I said about The Symbol Remains. So this is to me was very surprising when I listened to this from guys that old. It's a very hard rocking album, good production values. Um, great songs, um, and it's a bit more Blue Oyster Cultsy than the Simple Remains. So that's the reason why I put it a notch above. Um, Unfortunately, this one flopped hard. So yeah, they went away for another 19 years. I think they played a went on tour and played live, but they didn't record an album. But if you like Blue Oyster Cult and you don't know if you should check their newer stuff, try this one out. I think you will like it. Not much else to say about it. I know the older ones a bit better, so there's more to talk about them. And yeah, now I will start to do that because this is my number 11, Club Ninja from 1985. Yeah, and I like this one too. I think I said it a couple of times in several of our videos that I like this kind of sound, this very clean, gleaming uh, synth um, heavy hard rock sound from the 80s. I like that when brings me in a certain mood, brings me back to that time when I was a kid. And I think Blue Oyster Cult pull this off pretty good. Like you already mentioned, there are very good songs on here. The opener White Flag is a great song. It's cover version by a Canadian band called Legat. Very cool song. Um, I also like Dancing in the Ruins, which is the second song. Even the kind of stupid hair medley songs I like on this one, like Make Rock Not War. I mean, the title is makes you roll your eyes, but then I somehow like this one. And there's another one called Beat 'em Up, um, which is by a songwriter called Bob Halligan. And I read about him. He wrote several songs for Judas Priest, and one of them was uh, damn, no, I forgot it. Take These Chains from Screaming for Vengeance, right?
Mhm.
And just I think a couple of months before Club Ninja came out, Lee Aaron, the Canadian metal goddess, released an album with another version of Beat 'em Up on it. So yeah, he was in business, and uh, yeah, Blue Oyster Cult did this very cliched hard rock song, and yeah, Perfect Water is a great song. I like almost every song on here. I think probably Shadow Warrior is for me the weakest one, but then they end the album with Madness to the Method, which I also love. Um, I can totally understand why people who grew up in the 70s with Blue Oyster Cult and were raised on guitar driven um, hard rock music would scoff at this album, but I think we are 40 years later, so we can reevaluate this thing, and I think there are good songs on there. So this is my number 11. On number 10, I have Imaginos, um, and you already talked about the backstory. I guess the whole story. This is a concept album, and the whole story was written by their manager Sandy Pearlman, and I guess it's not intended to be understood in the way they put it on here because they left stuff out and
Mm, mhm.
left some things in other songs on. So they um, use this Imagino story several times on other songs. I mean, they have a kind of reimagining of their old hit Astronomy on here. Um, so that goes back to their third album. So even then they did this Imaginos thing. Uh, I like the album. I think it's a weird one. Um, the production makes it less weird than it would be otherwise because it's very cleanly produced. It's an 80s album, late 80s album. Um, and I like some of the songs a lot, and others are a bit hit and miss. So I'm the One You Want Me Of is a very foreboding opener, which is pretty typical of them. I love Les Invisibles. Um, in the Presence of Another World is very melodic and but moody and kind of dark. Um, the Siege and Investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's Castle at Visaria is cool. Uh, Astronomy, I like the old version better, but it's still a good one. Um, it's an interesting album and also was a huge flop, so did nothing, but it's worth revisiting. So that's my number 11.
10, right?
Uh, right, 10, sorry.
Okay, so my number 9 is Revolutions by Night, which came before Club Ninja. And I could repeat what I said about Club Ninja, with the exception this is much better. It's also a poppy 80s hard rock version. It has a lot of singing by Donald Roeser. And I mean, you also said this before, that you like this commercial 80s synthy hard rock sound, and it's really the same with me because it also reminds me of the 80s and all the radio of the 80s, the whole sound aesthetic of the 80s, and I like that when I like the singer. And with Donald Roeser, I have no problem at all. And yeah, this is really a very, very good album. Um, yeah, Veins is a song I like very much. Other highlights are Shadow of California, and this is the
That's
song
the,
with the
that's the
Simple
Simple Remains
Remains
song, right?
reference. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I also like the kind of cheesy ballad "Eyes on Fire." I really like that a lot. I mean, they could use this easily for a movie, for an 80s movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I also like Feel the Thunder or Take Me Away. Yeah, great use of synth throughout the whole album. Yeah, I think Blue Öyster Cult did this cooler than most other bands transitioning into the 80s. And they also always flirted with a more commercial sound, but in different ways. This is certainly one of the albums in which they succeeded, in my opinion. So they don't need to be ashamed of this at all. So, but it got very bad reviews at the time. But yeah, now we can see it differently. So my number 8, yeah, it's placed a little bit higher than for you. It's from 1998, Heaven Forbid. They come back album. I really like this a lot for some reason. I like the songs. Don't like the bad cover artwork, but don't let that fool you. This is a good album. This one was, to me, this was really a return to form. Um, the sci-fi writer John Shirley wrote most of the lyrics. I like them really a lot. Very cool. Well produced. It's also one of their heaviest albums, I would say. Stellar guitar work by Buck, especially on X-Ray Eyes. Really great. I love that one. Also on Damaged. And they have a different drummer. Albert is not drumming on this. It's Chuck Burgi, a super powerful drummer. And I think especially he gives this album extra muscular groove. And they have also good songwriting, so I can really listen to this front to back. A great Bach song on it, Harvest Moon. That's really
Yeah.
super melodic, great song. And in the I think in the end is the great live version of In Thee from Mirrors with very heartfelt singing. I also like that a lot. So I think this is my favorite last 20 years. Yeah. So my number seven, now we get into the black and white period. It's Tyranny and Mutations from 1973. It's certainly the heaviest album of the first three. Sound-wise and production-wise, it's kind of an improvement. They have more complex arrangements, but to me, it doesn't have as much song highlights as the debut or Secret Treaties. That's why I placed it a little bit lower. The first song, The Red and the Black, is the new version of I'm on the Lamp, but I Ain't No Sheep. It has, I think, it has a very basic riff to me. It's not very inventive, and they have a different version of the song of on the first album, and I actually prefer that one. I think that is, I like that one better. But still, some very good songs. I like Hot Rails to Hell, sung by Joe, or Wings Wetted Down. My favorite song on here is probably Seven Screaming Disbusters, 7 minutes long. It's very cool and very Blue Oyster Culty. And Baby Ice Dog by with lyrics by Patti Smith. Yeah, so it's a really cool album. Yeah, but the songs are stronger on the other black and white albums. About them, I will talk about them a little bit later. So that's my number seven.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Um, yeah, my number nine is The Revolution by Night. Um, yeah, and I just love this a little bit more by than Club Ninja. Um, it's Club Ninja is one step further into pop territory. This is still a bit. Here's a bit more of the Blue Oyster Cult DNA in it. And there are a couple of songs I totally love that absolutely get me. Shooting Shark, when I listened to that for the first time, I was blown away. It has this kind of pulsing synthy bass in it, and it's totally cinematic to me. It's you said that um, you said of one song that it could be a soundtrack song. Which
Eyes
one
on
was
Fire?
it? Was it
Eyes on
Feel the
Fire?
Thunder?
I think
Eyes on
Eyes on
Fire,
Fire,
right?
right?
Yeah, right. And this one is the same for me. So I love this the whole sound of this thing. I think there's a saxophone in there as well. Not
Yes.
quite sure, but I think so. Yeah, right. So perfect. Um, Take Me Away, Eyes on Fire. I also love Veins, Shadow of California. So the first half of the album is totally great for me. Um, uh, then Shadow of California, Feel the Thunder. In the end, it yeah, it loses a little bit of steam, but it's enough to put it on number nine for me. And in I think in the start I had this even higher because I like it so much, but um, the other stuff is a bit more interesting, and it takes a bit more to get into it, and it stays longer with you. And there's a little bit more to discover. This is a little bit simpler. So, but yeah, there are cool songs on here. Um, my number eight, and this is probably the album I'm. This is probably my Cultosaurus erectus because yeah, I guess I like it more than you like that one, but it's still an. This feels like the album to me that I still haven't fully got yet, and it's Mirrors.
Mhm.
Um, it's it was a huge disappointment sales wise. It's very clean. You could it's this late 70s coked out yacht rock sound, you could say. So it's yeah, it's very clean. It sounds like the cover looks. It's actually not a photo. It's a painting, which I think is
Right.
pretty cool. Love the cover artwork, and there's nothing wrong with this album. It's just I don't. It kind of keeps me. It kind of keeps me away. I'm not really getting into it. A couple of the songs are still very good. Let me check. Don't like the opening track, Doctor Music. Um, the second one is also a Michael Moorcock pen song, The Great Sun Jester. Don't like that one that much as well. I love In Thee. We talked about that one. Um, I like Mirrors, which is a bit goofy. It has the chorus. There are these girls singing it, and it feels kind of out of place, but it still works. I love Moon Crazy, which is another one sung by Joe, who doesn't sing that often. Um, the Vigil is good. I Am the Storm is probably my favorite on this one. Um, but none of the songs really blows me away. Yeah, it's maybe it will grow on me. I have not yet given up on it, but yeah, it's a good album. I have it on 8, but it's an album I have a little bit of problem with. And my number 7, and this is why I said this is interesting. I have Tyranny and Mutation as well,
Ah,
and I have complete the same opinion about it. I had this even lower before. But then I listened to it over and over and started to get more into it. But my impression of it is that it's a continuation of the debut, but with less weirdness. It feels a little bit old time rocking. Uh, there's a little bit of boogie stuff, and this good vibe jamming stuff on here that yeah, feels like a step back after the first one to me. Um, uh, but there are still some good tracks on it. Like you said, I don't like the first two that much. The Red and the Black and OD'd on Life Itself. They are a bit boring. Hot Rails to Hell is okay, but my favorite one is also Seven Screaming Disbusters. I think this is what I expected from this one after the first one. Um, Baby Ice Dog is okay. Wings Wetted Down and Teen Archer, I like those two. And the last one, Mistress of the Salmon Salt, is also pretty great. So in the end, it redeems itself because I don't think it starts off too good. Cool cover artwork. It's why they call this the black and white phase of the band, the first three albums. Um, yeah, it's an essential album, but of those classic run of the band, I like this one the least. Your turn.
okay. So my number 6, maybe also a bit controversial, is Agents of Fortune from 1976, which with of course, their biggest hit, Don't Fear the Reaper. Yeah, it feels a little bit like a compilation to me. It has a very strange sequencing. I mean, it starts super great with my one of my favorite Eric Bloom songs and opener, "Love." This ain't the summer of love, which is great. And then True Confessions. I think it's a Joe song, a total lame, boring song. I mean, it's not really really bad, but not something you want to hear from Agents of Fortune. Maybe they did this to piss people off. I don't know, but I think this totally breaks the flow of this album for me. I mean, there are certainly good songs and very good songs, but I think this is a strange sequencing choice. They have some strange sequencing choices also on other albums. Um, yeah, and I mean, I love ETI, the Patti Smith co-written song, and I think to me the only really great moments are Don't Fear the Reaper and This Ain't the Summer of Love. And the other songs are good, okay, and the last song is horrible. Debbie Denise is probably my least favorite, one of my least favorite Blue Oyster Cult songs. I think that was a total misstep. Yeah, I think it's an Albert Bouchard song. I mean, Albert is not my favorite singer and also not my favorite writer, but still, he also wrote some of their classics and some great songs. Yeah, and yeah, Agents of Fortune is a weird album to me with peaks and valleys. And yeah, it's still my number six because the peaks are so good. And yeah, but it's as a whole album experience, it doesn't really work for me. So because of this weird sequencing, but still a number six, which is very high. So my number five.
Interesting.
So my number five is also a very beloved album, and I also love it. It's from 1977, Spectres. It very much feels like a compilation to me because like a hit compilation because this album is very melodic. You could say this was, I mean, really a lot of songs from this album could have been a single, I would argue. So, and I did not like it as much when I first heard it, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But I warmed up to it with time, and I liked it more and more and more. Um, I even like Are You Ready to Rock? Usually I don't like such type of songs. Hey, yeah, let's rock. I have a riff. Dun, 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 yeah, clap your hands. That's not the rock music I like usually, but I mean when Blue Oyster Cult do it, I can tolerate it. And yeah, after all these years, I like this song. So I also like both Albert songs, Fireworks and Death Valley Nights. Really great compositions. Also very well sung by him. He's not always that great as a singer. And I'm not a big fan of his voice, but that's just my personal taste. Yeah, then Going Through the Motions. I also like that one, co-written by Ian Hunter from Mott the Hoople. Again, sung by Eric. Yeah, I love the night, sung by Donald, and a great closer Nosferatu, sung by Joe. I think this might be the best Joe Bouchard song by Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, and I also like the opener Godzilla a lot. It's really a great song, but still, it feels totally out of place in the beginning of this album. I mean, they have the golden age of leather, yeah, with this a cappella moment in the beginning. I mean, this would have been the perfect beginning for a great album. What do? They put Godzilla in front of it. This doesn't, I don't know. This doesn't work for me at all. I think Godzilla, it sounds to me like a hit single. We put it on the beginning of the album, and yeah,
It's a little bit like their under pressure moment.
yes. It's very weird, and it takes somehow the steam out of the start of this album, and then you have to rethink. Okay, so this is okay. To me, this album kind of starts with the golden age of leather, and I consider in my head. I consider Godzilla to be a separate single that we listen to before the album starts. So. But I think you can understand what I mean.
Yeah, of
So
course.
and yeah, and yeah, and of course I love the Golden Age of Leather. It's great, sung by Donald, and yeah, it captures a spirit, a Blue Oyster Cult spirit, and it's really one of my favorite songs of the band, and yeah, but yeah, this weird sequencing things they do, they prevent me from placing such great albums higher because yeah, to me the start of an album is very, very important always. If you don't do that right as a band, if the album gets great later, it will, yeah. You would see it in my ranking. It's the same with Tyranny and Mutations. I think it's a very weak start because the riff is very basic, not very interesting, and here with Godzilla is kind of a song that doesn't really fit on the album, in my opinion. In a way, yes, but it's still my number five. It's very good. So yeah. So, and now we come to my number four, again of the black and white period from this time from 1972. It's their debut, Blue Oyster Cult. It's very much a psych album, and they are very bluesy in this period and very much an album of its time. And I like the start of this album. It starts with Transmaniacon. It's kind of a falling down the stairs riff, I call it. Like Helter Skelter, or also it reminds me of a Queens of the Stone Age riffs. Queens of the Stone Age
Mhm.
also write riffs like this. So
Yes, absolutely.
I feel totally at home when I hear this. I love this song. It's great. Then I love the song. Then came the last days of May, about a deal gone bad. Two friends of Buck were killed. A tragic story. And this is an amazing drop dead classic song. I wish they had more songs like this because, yeah, I like Buck's voice so much, and if he sings a very, very good ballad like this, it's amazing. So, and yeah, and this is full of classics. I really love this album. I also like Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. They're classics. Inspired by The Wizard by Black Sabbath, but without the harmonica. Um, I would prefer it if someone else would sing it, and not Albert, because yeah, I don't like his voice that much. I mean, it's still a cool thing to have. I think back in the day it wasn't that usual to have the drummer sing one of the coolest songs of the band. So it must have been pretty cool. So if you've seen them live and the drummer steps to the mic and is doing his thing. So this is an early 70s rock classic. Great album.
Cool. Okay. So my number six is Cultosaurus erectus. And I think this is so this was the album they put out after Mirrors, Spectres and Mirrors. They tried to um, build on the success of Agents of Fortune, which was their bestseller to this date, but both albums kind of failed with the even cleaner sound, and so they tried to get back to their roots. And I would say this is probably their most metal album. I don't think Blue Oyster Cult are a metal band, um, but if there's an album that puts them kind of in the vicinity of the genre, it would be this one. And I mean, one reason is the cover. Um, then you have this song co-written by Michael Moorcock, Black Blade, which is a pretty metal song. And yeah, there are a couple of others, Monsters. I love Divine Wind, which you think is boring. I think that's one of the greatest on here, and probably maybe my favorite on the album. Um, I think the only song I don't like on this one, or don't like that much, is Fallen Angel, which is a bit wimpy in the context of the album, because the rest is pretty rocking. Hungry Boys is pretty dumb song, could be by Kiss or something like that. It's this little bit hair metally, you could say. Um, and just to get into the question of if Blue Oyster Cult are metal or were metal. I think what really held them back or holds them back, in my opinion, and you talked about this a couple of times, is the voices of these guys because they don't have a really strong shouter in the band, and they all sound a bit average. Um, don't wouldn't say they are bad singers, but Rosa probably has most personality, but he has a rather soft voice. And all the other guys sound a bit the same, and they sound like guys. Well, now you can sing, so they are not really singers. They are guys shouting the lyrics into the mic somehow, yeah. And I guess that's what misses is missing to make them really metal, because metal has a strong shouter in the front, right? Um, but um, but there's other stuff. I don't think they weren't really interested to be labeled that way, even when their manager wanted them to become the second Black Sabbath. I think they were too versatile for that, and their interests were way too different to go in this route. I don't think they were interested in being heavy or something like that. So yeah, but this is a pretty heavy album, and probably the album that I would give a metal fan if he wants to get into Blue Öyster Cult. So I like this one. My number five is the debut album, Blue Öyster Cult. And I agree with you completely. I think this is, I remember the first time I listened to this, and I just thought, that's that's so weird. That's such a weird album. And I mean, they are playing pretty straight rock and roll, but it's weird rock and roll. The riffs are weird. The comparison to Queens of the Stone Age is pretty spot on. I think never thought about this, but I guess they like this album. Um, yeah, they have these weird rhythms and riffs, and then the lyrics are weird as well. The song titles are weird. I'm on the lamp, but I ain't no sheep. Um, she's as beautiful as a foot, and the song is also great. I love it. Um, uh, yeah, just strange. Before the kiss, a red cap. Um, yeah, but yeah, it's great throughout. I love pretty much the whole thing. Um, Cities on Flame with rock and roll, of course. Workshop of the Telescopes, Redeemed, which is this beautiful folksy song in the end. Yeah, great debut and start of a great ride, I would say. And my number four is Spectres from 1977, and I think this is the album that kind of grew the most for me in the last couple of weeks. I realized how much I loved this album when I just put it on. I was on a plane, and I was like half sleeping, and I realized how much I love each and every song, and that I could remember every melody on it. And I didn't. While I thought I don't know this album that well, um, I think, yeah, I agree with you on Godzilla. It's a song have grown tired of pretty fast. I don't like it that much anymore. Um, but there's so much greatness on here. Um, yeah, Golden Age of Leather, you mentioned it. Death Valley Nights is one of my favorite songs of Blue Öyster Cult. Uh, Searching for Celine, like that one as well. Fireworks, uh, Celestia the Queen. It's not the greatest song of them, but I like it in the context of this album, going through the motions. And I Love the Night is just beautiful. And I agree, Nosferatu is one of their dark, foreboding, moody songs that's almost like a kind of mini opera, you could say, because it's like it brings images to mind. So I think while this was a first step down in sales for them after selling more and more with each album. But uh, I love this one. Pretty unique sound. Um, Catches the vibe of these late 70s. And it's still weird enough for me. So while they are going a bit more pop and getting more accessible, it still retains the mystique of the band. So number four, Spectres. Your turn.
Okay, now we're coming for the top three. So my number three is from 1981, Fire of Unknown Origin. Great, great album produced by Martin Birch. It sounds really cool from front to back, has a cool album cover. All songs are sung by Eric Bloom and Donald Rosa. So it's not as not so many singers like on Spectres. It makes it also a more cohesive listening experience. It's sometimes not a bad thing. I mean, so and this one has "Burning for You," one of their great songs. I think it was a small hit. No, I mean not in Germany. It has this Donald Rosa charm. I love it. From Eric, I love Soul Survivor, which is great. Uh, a song sung by Joe. Vengeance is great. Joan Crawford is also a total classic. I love it. And also Don't Turn Your Back by Donald. So the only song on this album I don't like is Heavy Metal, which was written for this heavy metal film. I mean, it's okay, but compared to the other songs, it falls maybe two levels down for me. And I really think it would be a better album if you left it out. So yeah. This album has a lot of organ and synth sounds. So many of the songs have kind of a pastoral church-like feel, as if it was recorded in a church, almost like a mass, a black mass maybe. And all songs kind of, uh, I think this production and all this sound world, this pastoral feel, they all songs melt into each other and create something. Any good album should create something bigger than all the songs because it creates the kind of the spirit of the album and it gets bigger than the sum of its parts. And yeah, I think this album is one of their strongest. It could even be higher, but I thought because of this little misstep with heavy metal, it's not as well rounded as my number one and number two, but this still is a masterpiece to me. Yeah, love the album cover, and yeah, it's great. And yeah, one of the very best albums. So my number two is Secret Treaties from 1974. This is a total masterpiece in my opinion from front to back. It captures the early 70s, a very, very cool vibe. I love Career of Evil is certainly a highlight, co-written by Patti Smith. Um, yeah, and the funny thing is, I said before, Donald Rosa is my favorite singer, and I prefer it if he sings many songs. He doesn't sing any song on this album, and I still like it a lot. And I don't even think about on this album who is singing and if I like it because everything here feels perfect and like a classic. Um, yeah, though they have the songs here, unlike on Tyranny and Mutation, the feel and yeah, and this album kind of, I mean, I mentioned Career of Evil, it's one of my favorite, but otherwise, this album doesn't really have a lot of highlights because every song works so and it works so well as an album and everything is great from front to back. I really, yeah, I really love it. And it was actually one of the first albums I listened to by them. So, no, actually, I listened to Imaginos before this. I remember this right now, and I didn't like it. And then I thought I didn't like it that much, and I thought this band maybe is not for me. And then I discovered that this band actually is very, very different. So, okay, my number one is yeah, Mirrors, produced by Tom Werman, producer of Cheap Trick. And I was surprised about this myself because I did not like this album that much. Yeah, I thought it was okay and has a few highlights. But when not so long ago, I was on holiday in Switzerland, and then this album clicked with me. And then I loved every song, even the songs that annoyed me with this backing vocals of the girls, the pretty girls of the West, that annoyed me to hell before this, and now I love it. I love this album as a whole. I It makes perfect sense to me. And yeah, it took a very unexpected turn, and yeah, it's very smooth, and it has a shimmering and glossy production. It unfortunately it didn't work out for them, as you mentioned before. The broader public, they didn't like it. It didn't translate in sales at all, which is kind of a shame, I think, because this is to me it is really their peak for some reason. Although they some of the Blue Oyster Cult trademarks are missing, but still, they were trying to branch out to more radio friendly music, and as you called it, yard rock. Yeah, I totally agree. Um, but still, it contains some of Donald's finest guitar playing. It has a kind of a newfound sensitivity they did not have before this, and top class compositions, and some of their best. Yeah, they evolved in a very unexpected direction here, and yeah, and I totally liked it. It's I love In Thee by Alan Lanius. I love Great Sun Jester, yeah, co-written by sci-fi author Michael Moorcock again. And one of their very, very best songs is The Vigil, in my opinion. It has many different parts, great arrangements. It's really an epic track. It's again sung by Donald. And very cool lyrics about kind of an extraterrestrial encounter. It starts with a groove rock sing, an instrumental section, then a very more subtle guitar melody, but it's totally creates a mood, and then beautiful soaring vocals with incredible harmonies. Also, it contains really, for me, one of the best moments in Blue Oyster Cult because that is so beautiful, and I also like this topic with the aliens. Yeah, and in the end with this "Come to Us," very cool. Then I also yeah, and I also like Moon Crazy, great singing by Joe, very atmospheric and dark, but a song about an obsession, but still very melodic. Yeah, you wouldn't expect that from Blue Oyster Cult. The harmonies on this album, they are really perfect. It's really perfectly sung and very, very well executed. Um, I like the lyrics and also the song by Albert. You're not the one I was looking for. It's also a kind of a funny lyric. I love it. And yeah, and Lonely Teardrop sung by Donald is a nice way to close the record. And yeah, many fans thought this was too poppy and a step in the wrong direction. Yeah, I can understand that if you know the old Blue Oyster Cult. But I mean, it's still much better than the last song on Agents of Fortune. I think. How was it called?
Debbie Denise.
Debbie Denise. Yeah, I hate that one. That's really a poppy version of Blue Oyster Cult. I don't like it all. So. Yeah, and as you mentioned, the cover and the music has such a great combination. This glossy production is totally captured in this painted image. It's totally in sync with the music and represents how the album sounds. And I can hear the album when I look at the album cover. And yeah, I don't know how this happened. When I went to Switzerland, I came back and I loved mirrors.
Yeah,
And it's
nice,
even my number one.
nice. I like how this goes. Yeah. Okay, so very, very similar in our differences here. So, okay, my number three is Secret Treaties from 1974, the third album and the end of the black and white era. Um, yeah, and you already said it. This is a great album. Even the songs I didn't like at first, they grew on me. In and that happens so often with Blue Oyster Cult. So I don't know if this ranking would be the same in like I don't know 2 months or next year because songs you didn't like suddenly they make sense and grow on you and that yeah just in a couple in the last couple of weeks this happens so often with so many albums. Career of Evil, amazing song, one of their greatest songs. Subhuman, also great, love that one. uh, Emmy 262, 362, 262 was a song I didn't like before. Then I heard it really loud, and all of a sudden I was grooving with my head with my my headgear on and KG Cretans, also a song that's somehow goofy. I love it. KG, just great. And then of course Flaming Telepaths, which is one of my favorite Blue Oyster Cult songs, just amazing, like a science fiction horror film in 5 minutes, and Astronomy, which is also beautiful. There's so much happening in this short span of time. Uh, Totally epic track, just great and a perfect ending for this album. So number three, but at the same time, I'm pulling my hairs because it's just number three. Number two, The Fire of Unknown Origin from 1981. And I was blown away when I first listened to this album and Veterans of the Psychic Wars came on because that's such I don't know how to describe it. It's so dark and it's this very synth heavy track. It's so atmospheric and has this evil groove, and then they still manage to bring some melody in there. Has this amazing short story. The title alone gives you images. Veterans of the Psychic Wars just sounds amazing. I love this one, and then of course the title track, "Fire of Unknown Origins," also a very great song. Um, Joan Crawford, you mentioned it. Soul Survivor. It's really burning for you. It's these really but these two tracks alone are so killer to me that they lift this album up so much, and I had to put it this high because yeah, Veterans of the Psychic Wars, man. And my number one, and you
Do you
know it.
like heavy metal on that one?
Uh, I have to say I don't have it in my head right now.
Okay.
I will tell you. I will tell
Okay.
you. I don't know now, but
Mm,
I don't think that I dislike any of the songs on this one.
okay.
But my number one is Agents of Fortune. And it's my number one because I like every single song on this one. And to me, it totally flows. Um, I love it. I think it contains such great songwriting. I don't have any problems with any of the song, not even True Confessions and not Debbie Denise. This Ain't the Summer of Love. Beautiful. I agree with you. Don't Fear the Reaper. I'm not yet tired of it. ETI, Extraterrestrial Intelligence, is great. I love it. Uh, the Revenge of Vera Jiminy with backing vocals by Patti Smith, perfect. Um, Sinful Love, Tattoo Vampire, Morning Final. I love Tenderloin. That's such a beautiful song. Um, yeah, I think I think it's not that different from Spectres and Mirrors. It's a little less polished than Mirrors. Um, has the weird atmospheric and storytelling lyrics that we love from this band. Um, to me, it's perfect from start to finish, and kind of the best compromise between the early Blue Oyster Cult and the later more poppy stuff. So their most successful album. So this is my mainstream choice, of course. But yeah, I love this one. Can't say anything else. And I love the other albums as well. But yeah, picking a favorite, this was actually this. I had this one on number one pretty soon, and then the stuff between number one and number 15 that was kind of hard, but number one was pretty easy for me actually.
Hmm,
So that's it.
very cool.
Nice. A lot of similarities, but very significant differences in our
Yes,
rankings.
yeah,
It's yeah, yeah,
yeah.
nice.
But we
What
agree
I
about the black and white period.
Yeah, right. And I guess I guess we agree about the band in general. And yeah, maybe next year our number one has switched. Who knows?
Yes.
What I also wanted to say is what when we're talking about the weirdness of the band, I think this band looks really weird. I mean, this Eric Bloom looks like a rocker, but then he has this. I mean, they are very hairy guys. I don't think that Buck looks like a rock star at all. He looks like a nerd to me, and Albert Bouchard as well. Yeah, that's fits the bill. The way they look fits the music they make. It's really a weird band and completely unique to me.
Yeah. It's hard to compare any band to them. So
Yeah, yeah. So you liked discovering them?
yeah, totally. I love them. So I think they are a very unique band, and they are very. I mean, we say this all the time, but this time it is really true. This is really a band that is hard to rank. Yeah, because also because you change your opinion on the albums so often.
Yeah,
Because I mean, with other bands, I think most of the time it is much easier to get more or less true first impression. Yeah, when you listen to it two or three times, but not with Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, you would totally change your mind when you listen to it more often. And then you think they don't really have an identity because of the many voices. But then you discover they really have a very unique identity because of those many voices and their compositions, and they have so many I think they have so many songwriters. I think that is also one of their strengths. So
yeah, yeah.
as a very very unique band that yeah. that I still have to discover because I don't think I managed to get all of their albums. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice. So, of course, we are not finished with Blue Oyster Cult because we will rank our favorite songs by them. I think we have agreed on 20, right?
yeah,
Yeah, because
easily
they have a
20.
lot of great songs, and I think that's well deserved to do a top 20. So that's yet to come. Um, Stay tuned. I hope you liked our deep dive into Blue Oyster Cult. If so, give us your thumbs up. Um, Leave a subscription. We would be very grateful for that. And give us your comments on Blue Oyster Cult, your favorite albums, your favorite tracks, who's your favorite singer, whatever. Um, Leave us your comment and stay tuned for the top 20 Blue Oyster Cult songs. Hope to see you then. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.